All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Blind View here on Rumble. And here is your host, Miss Rebecca Meadows.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How is everybody tonight on this? Is this the last Wednesday before the end of the month, or is there one more? Does anybody know? I think there's one more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to greet all of our viewers and say thank you for joining us this evening. But is everybody ready to get started with their topics?
This is Brandon. Good evening to you, Becca, and everybody. Yeah, I am, but I don't have to go first. I think it would be it would blend better if I went later, but it's up to you.
I guess we should have talked about this before we went live. Paul, what would you like to go first?
Becca, go ahead. Do you want to start with your topic about what's happening with Greenland?
Oh, yeah.
I think that would be best.
Yeah,
right, because there was just news about it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really timely. Trump comes up with some pretty off-the-wall ideas, at least ideas that sound off the wall when you first hear them. And when I first heard about him wanting to take over Greenland, I chuckled. Because I actually get quite a kick out of Trump because he's unpredictable, and that is one thing that makes him such a master at what he does, But if you were listening this morning, President Trump was speaking about why he feels taking over Greenland would be of value to the United States. And actually, I heard him talking about how it's not just a value to the United States, but it's a necessity for the protection and preservation of the United States. And in fact, the protection and preservation of the entire world. That's what kind of impact the United States having control and protection over Greenland would have. You know what I mean? And so he made a lot of sense, and that's one thing I really admire about President Trump. When he believes in something, he comes forth and he tells the people, this is what I believe. This is why I think it's a good idea. This is, you know what I mean? I really love our leader, our president, because I just feel like he communicates with us, Did you guys feel that way about this? Did you guys happen to hear him talking about it?
It's not often that I say this, but I'm a little bit of two minds about it, which is that, yes, I understand the overarching points that he's making, as far as Greenland being a strategically beneficial place for us to, I'll say at least closely ally with. But I just hope that this Greenland thing is one of the last foreign policy. I'm tired of so much foreign policy, right? This one makes sense because it is so strategically unique. As say somewhere like Ukraine or Iran or North Korea. Those people want to battle it out and fight it out. I'm tired of so much foreign intervention. But this though, the Greenland thing does make sense because what sticks out to me most saliently is what has been said before, which is that if we don't secure some kind of agreement or deal, then Russia or China are gonna, and we do not need that.
Right. And so I think that President Trump did a really good job establishing his case for the United States taking over control of Greenland. You know what I mean? And it sounds like the people of Greenland also welcome the United States help. You know what I mean, and assistance.
Well, but why do you think? Why do you 3 points for Rebecca? Why do you think we should take it over though, and not just work with? Are they called Greenlanders? But why do we have to take it over? I'm not a big fan of those optics.
No, listen, I think it all depends on what terminology one uses. I don't think we're going to take it over in the sense that we're going to go over and occupy them and be holding them hostage and stuff, the citizens of Greenland. All we're doing is we're coming in as a stronger country with more assets and more resources to provide them, a certain type of like abundance in their lifestyle, and we're going to provide them. They'll get all the same protections and rights that I'm sure in the end they'll have all the same protections and rights that like Puerto Rico has, or any, you know what I mean?
Okay, so
that would be beneficial to Greenland, I think.
So it's right. So you're viewing it more as like we would become like an ally of Greenland.
Yes, and we would become, because they would be part of the United States. Like I said, just like Puerto Rico or any of the other. I mean, I think there's a few different
territories
that the United States has. And forgive me, I just haven't been able to study the geography very much. I mean, I took 1 year of geography after the accident, and I just didn't really learn anything. So I'm just not really familiar with that stuff.
Well, I mean, if that is the shape that the actual policies revolve around, then sure, I am in favor of that. But I think we'll have to see though, right? Because we offered the same general type of agreement to Canada, and about 50% of them said hell no, and another 50% said hell yes.
Well, maybe we should. Maybe the Greenlanders or the citizens of Greenland, the people who reside there, maybe they should be polled in a similar fashion to see how many of them would like to become American, citizens, and how many of them would like to say up your giggy to the United States.
Or at least the territory of America. I mean,
right. Yeah, I think it's only fair that Greenland be given the same poll Canada was given. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, and I do understand what you're saying too, because it's just like, what we heard about some of these Venezuelan terrorists, that we were going to take over Venezuela, but that's not actually what happened. I mean, we might have assumed like operational control just to get some structure in place, but it's not like we're going to annex Venezuela. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's just people use that term. Oh, Trump's going to take over Greenland, and it's like, well, I don't think that we should take over Greenland. I don't know. It's just I just like to give everybody their own chance. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see myself as really needing to run anybody's life. I'd rather teach them to run their own lives, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The audience seems to agree.
Yes.
I have just a minute. I had a question. I'm trying to formulate it in my mind. I'll come back to it later, I guess.
No, you're fine. Take your time. We're literally talking about geopolitical issues here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I like that tone, because if Russia or China inks a deal before we do, we don't need that. We do not, because they wouldn't even be as nice as us.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, welcome, Anya.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late.
Welcome.
I was finishing a call for my job. It was a legal call, so I couldn't just drop. It was a lawyer client call.
I gotcha.
Well, good for you, Anya.
Yeah, well, I'm not that late, hopefully, so I hope I didn't miss very much.
Oh no, you didn't, not at all.
No, Becca and I have just been splitting hairs, kind of, but both of us seem relatively unified about this whole Greenland thing. You know, I'm just making the point that I don't think we should like brutally just take it over. But Becca's saying no, we're not going to do that. They're going to be more of like a territory or an ally.
Yeah, and Trump is offering them protection, and he's offering them, from what I understand, he's offering them opportunities. You know what I mean, and a better life for their citizens and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of agree. And then, maybe it's a little kind of old-fashioned way of looking at things, but if you look from a historic perspective, countries, big empires have always increased. Like they always expanded. And like every territory, like every country, every piece of land belonged to somebody. So people have traded land, bought land, conquered land. So it's been all throughout our existence. So I don't think there's anything out. Yeah.
But in that
Thank
same
you.
vein, I could also say that a lot of empires that we've read about in history, they're history, which is why we read about them. So there's also that point as well. Thank you.
That is a valid point, Paul.
Why is there kids listening to this political discussion? That's what I want to know.
They're getting smarter and smarter all the time. Trust me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It is funny. It's like, what? How do you?
These kids are very educational. Or education field, I guess, or education minded, if you will. But what I will say is, like Trump or dislike Trump, I certainly have my opinions about him. He did talk about this when I believe he was running, when he was campaigning. So this was something that he did.
I thought he. Guys, did you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about, Trump taking over Greenland is one thing, but what do you guys think about Trump's talk of rebuilding Gaza?
No.
I haven't heard much of him mentioned lately.
Thumbs
I
down.
haven't heard.
Don't care.
You don't want him to help rebuild Gaza?
No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, guys. Zero interest.
Say that because my understanding is Gaza is a small area, so it wouldn't cost the United States as much as it did for us rebuilding the entire Middle East. Iraq and Iran and all of those countries that we've been destroying the last few decades while we've been fighting the war on terror. I think that just a minute, I lost my train of thought again. Somebody please remind me what I was saying.
Yeah, you was talking about how he wants to rebuild Gaza, and Brandon saying he don't have a care about that one bit.
I think Trump's plan of rebuilding Gaza and is a good one, because if he rebuilds Gaza and brings, educational opportunities there and business opportunities there and employment opportunities there and all of that stuff, all those opportunities there for the people so they can change their lives, then they won't be dependent on, other ruthless dictators. They won't be able to come in and just take over like they were able to do before. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, and I think that makes Bibi Netanyahu look like a little baby. Do it yourself, Bibi.
Well, but then by Trump doing that, it helps to protect Israel. And
do that yourself,
God
Bibi.
tells us in the Bible to pray for Israel and to be good to Israel. And so I feel like by protecting Israel, we are also following what God calls us to do. And
we have done that plenty already. Even Bibi Netanyahu acknowledges we are one of the closest allies with Israel.
Yeah, but think about how it could possibly and would probably benefit the United States greatly in the future to have some occupation there in the Gaza Strip, right? Think about it. Maybe it would help us maintain peace in the Middle East better if we were there because we were rebuilding Gaza, or we had rebuilt Gaza. You know what I mean?
I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
I do not want to do it. I'm not interested. I think that's a poor use of our money. I don't want to do it.
I agree with Brandon on that one. Actually, I think we need to focus on us. I think people from that region of the world, they don't like us very much, to say the least. So I mean, I think, yeah, we're babying too many countries in this world, and we don't get much of appreciation back.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, Trump seems to be concerned about what America is getting, and I think that's good. And I think in the long run, like as Trump starts implementing more and more of his ideas that he hasn't even shared with us yet, right? I think we're going to come to see that he has great vision for the world. I think Trump is a visionary, and I think he has the eye of God too, right? Or the mind of God. I think Trump shares the mind of God. And when he looks at the world, he looks at it as a visionary. And so I mean,
I would say respectfully disagree with that. I think Trump has some good ideas, and I think Trump, some of his ideas, I think are pretty off the wall. What I will say about Trump is that he Trump wants to do what he feels is best, whether you are a conservative or whether you are someone who is more liberal. And I think with some of the things that we've seen over the last month or so, they're not very conservative ideas. And there's a lot of conservative people who, register as conservative who agree with those ideas. And I find that very interesting. So that's all I'll really say about that.
so another thing I want to say is when Trump says these things, like I said, when he first says them, they sound really outlandish and off the wall, which is why I think he says them to begin with. Because I think a lot of times he says them to shock the other side and get the other side all worked up, right? And then he waits to see what the reaction will be, the long-term fallout among the citizens, right? And then he decides what he's really going to do in the situation. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't mean that I just think he does that in order to see how the people really feel. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, he mentioned, what was it, a month ago or so, that people would have to have, instead of say 15 or 30-year mortgages, that in this time frame people would have to have 50-year mortgages. Now, to some that doesn't matter. To others, that was a big deal.
I don't know that he was saying people have to have any kind of mortgage. I think what he was saying was, I think he was suggesting as an option.
Right. Yeah.
Correct. That's I should have worded that better.
That he was suggesting 50-year mortgages as an option.
Correct.
And so that's what that was.
Yes. But
it's-
you can't suggest that as an option and say in the same breath, we're going to make America great again. I'm sorry, you can't.
Well, but it's one of the ways. I mean,
can.
you can. I agree. You can say that.
I go ahead.
Say it's the best idea. I don't personally think so. I mean, I know what he's doing with this. I know what he's trying to accomplish is to put more people in the housing market. Because so many young people just give up. Like, okay, I cannot afford it. Forget it. I'm just gonna rent forever. Yeah. So he's trying to encourage that move.
Yeah, I'm one of those people.
Yeah, there we go. But at the same time, by making this move and making 50-year mortgages, you make you pretty much make those people bank slaves for life. I mean,
yeah,
right,
and that's
right,
and
right.
that's
And
not
I
that's not making
yeah.
America. That isn't making America great in the grand scheme of things.
Well, but what if he made it so that while you're paying on that 50-year mortgage, it's transferable to your children? So your children can take it over without a loss of principal value and without any penalties, so that in the event of your death, they just take it over and then they still have the same value in the house, and then they have a good house. You know what I mean? And they just, what do you guys
if they
think?
don't? What if they don't want it?
Well,
Can I jump in for a second? because I think I might be the only one. I don't know, maybe Anya, that has a mortgage. Because I know Becca, your house is paid off. And
we have.
Do you have one?
Yeah, we have mortgage.
So 50 years for the average person, they're going to be dead. You're never going to own a house. And what gets passed on to your kids, if your kids are not capable of paying for that mortgage,
that's my point.
Where right now you have 2 income households, generally, sometimes 3, trying to pay for these houses, then the bank's just going to take it away from the kids. And therefore, you have people that work their whole lives for nothing. I don't agree with that.
That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And so, you know, I'm not here to fight. I'm not here
then Trump should do something. It's ridiculous and frankly bullshit to have to pay $500,000, $700,000 for a house. I'm not willing to do it. That's also
I agree. I mean, just last week, I think we were looking at our last year's payments, like how much we paid down for principal and how much we paid interest, and it's almost the same, almost equal amount. Like, goddamn, you know.
So half your payments going to interest. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You've been paying. It just doesn't seem to ever end.
No, and the idea, right? And I have cousins. My cousin and her husband have done this. Oh, sure. The idea, if you make a payment and a half or a double payment, nobody does. Not very many people can afford to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Now they did it. They were able to do it, and they now own their house free and clear as well. And they paid it off in about 15 years. But not many people are able to do that.
Right. All right. Well, we'll be back.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll be
right back after these messages, ladies and gentlemen.
I know I don't need to remind you of what you must already be thinking. What any man in your position would be thinking at this moment. You scream? Will you try anything? I want to cut up that pretty little face of yours.
Your father thinks he's being a hero. He ain't.
What you need to be asking yourself right now is, am I the kind of man to allow my wife to be violated? Or my young son? Over money? What kind of man are you?
Whatever you came here for, you won't get.
Hey, it's me, Rebecca S. Meadows, with a quick reminder. Be sure that you don't miss a single episode of The Blind View by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast feed. You can find us at The Blind View with author Rebecca Meadows. And now back to the show.
Well, it's a new one.
Yeah, so I wanted to let our viewers know that first commercial was for our show Invasion. And Invasion is going to be showing at the Chandler Film Festival this coming Sunday, January 25th. So I wanted to invite people to come out and see it.
I got you. The 25th. Yeah, so that's this weekend, right?
Yep, January 25th. And coincidentally, that is also the anniversary of when I got out of that guardianship. January 25th, 2012 was when I got out of that damn thing. So
that's something to cheer for.
14 years. Very nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
So we covered Becca's topic. Yeah. Whose topic is next?
Well, I think we didn't really discuss. Correct.
Do you want to go next?
I could, but I thought Brandon never got to go last time. Does Brandon want to go? I mean,
so listen. This is what I think, Anya. I think your and I topics, they sort of dovetail, so it can go either way. But yeah, I can go now if you want with tonight's topic.
We can sort of combine because I saw what you were going to talk about. And it overlaps a bit. Mm-hmm.
So I'll go and give my perspective. We can talk about it, and then you can talk about how you think, right? your topic. Yeah, that's right.
Did we just get started talking about our topics, you guys?
This is the Brandinator. So you're right to be a little bit anxious, but you really don't need to be in this case. I'm not angry or anything, but in fact, my topic is whether or not to disclose blindness at the beginning of a conversation, especially, in the context of like business or potential prospects, in like a professional setting. And I say no. But that also holds true in my personal life as well. Like I didn't tell the lady who's now my wife that I was blind in the beginning, and I don't tell employers either. And it's because I think there's far too much disinformation and misinformation, and I just feel like if you say that out in the open from the get-go. Now I know there are people who disagree with me. This is why I want to talk about this with you guys, because we're all blind, legally blind anyway. But I just feel like there's too much misinformation and disinformation, and I don't want to give people that opportunity. I want them to feel like, oh, everything was great. Everything was fine. Swimmingly, roses and rainbows until you learned about my blindness. And now, now you're going to rescind the agreement. Now you're going to rescind the offer of employment just because you haughtily think you know what I need as a blind person. No. But what do you guys think? Do you guys disclose up front, or do you wait?
Well, I have to say that in my case, it's really hard not to disclose because, you submit your resume when you're applying for a job. And my resume lists one of my places of employment, blindness, learning new dimensions, Blind Incorporated, where I worked. So, and I tell about teaching Braille, teaching assistive technology, this and that, and it kind of gives it away. So I know that many people can work
just
in
like
those places too.
my cane as well, right? It's not that I'm trying to hide my blindness at all, no, because my white cane also clearly signifies. But what if see, I use a folding cane. Live the life you want, right? I use a folding cane. Yeah.
But where, like when you come for an interview, you walk with your cane. So
of course.
So,
but if the person doing the interview though is maybe busy, and I fold my cane up and have it in my pocket, and they might not know.
No, dude. And I don't know if everyone is this way, but if you say been like me, and you are born blind, and your eyes look a certain way, their employer would have to be blind to not notice that you're blind.
Yeah, eye contact.
Okay, but that gets into the legally murky water though of they're not supposed to ask. Whoa, hey, are you blind or something?
I've been told that I make good eye contact, but I've also was totally sighted till I was 12 years old, and I do have some vision back. But I believe that even people who've been blind their whole lives can achieve the ability to make eye contact or damn near it. You know what I mean?
Not if you're total.
If you don't have a perception or of what that is, I mean, I could look in someone's direction, but if I don't have an idea of what it even means to look into someone's eyes, like that, like I'm not going to be able to do that. I was trying to look at the camera, but I think I failed there. But
I agree with Paul.
I don't know about you guys, but my voice comes out of my mouth, which is centered between my eyes. So if I'm speaking to somebody and they look towards where the voice is coming from, they'll be really close to looking in my face, at least. So that's what I do. I probably don't get right on with eye contact, but I get close enough that I've been told by a lot of people that I do really good with it.
No, there's a difference between facing somebody's direction and actually looking in somebody's eyes. There's a huge difference.
And we don't need to go in off to this tangent, but yeah, I mean, for example, when someone said recently to someone you'd never seen before, look up, and the person knew to put their head up, but when they wanted their eyes to look up, go ahead, put that on a loop. When they wanted their eyes to look up, they didn't know how to do that. So, what I'll say to get back to the discussion at hand. Do
you disclose it? Do you disclose it right up front, like right on your resume?
Absolutely.
First time you talk to anybody on the phone?
I do. You know why? You know why I do? Because look, I'm going to, as a blind person, it might take me a little longer to text. They might wonder what's taking so dang long for that text message to go through. It might take me a little longer to get into my bank. And if the person needs to get into my bank that I'm talking to, well, then we might be really close by that point. But I'm distracted by the banana eater over there. I just think that in my opinion, you should, because they're gonna know. And if they can't accept that kind of off the get-go, then maybe I'm not that interested in being with that person for employment reasons or dating reasons or whatever the reason might be. Maybe I'm not interested in being with that person if they can't accept it right off the bat anyway.
Right. And Brendan, like, of course you don't say like, hi, my name is Brendan and I'm blind. Of course not. But just in your example, you came with your folding cane and you sat down, and interviewer comes in like a minute later or something, and the first thing they would likely going to do is to extend their hand to so you give them a handshake, and you're not going to see it. So that's.
But I know enough about business etiquette that I would.
But you don't know.
And then if they don't extend their hand, it makes them look cold and aloof and distant.
Yes.
Now I think the real question would be, I think, say you have a job interview, because now a lot of these happen over the phone. If you have a job interview, say over the phone, do you disclose that? And
no,
I do.
I see no reason to. If I apply for that job, it's because I think I can do it with the same degree of efficacy, or very nearly, meaning 98% the same degree of efficacy and productivity as a sighted person.
Yeah.
Okay, and I agree with you in that regard. I do.
I don't expect anything to change because of my blindness, except what absolutely, meaning that, yes, I after and only after they offer me a position, then I will bring up, I do need reasonable accommodations in the form of a screen reader, but that's all I need. So I'm not, I do think it's wrong to not ever disclose that you do need accessible accommodations. I think if they want to,
Okay, I have a question for you. Since you brought this up, not to cut you off. When you have the little volunteer things at the bottom of the page where it says, do you have a disability, blah, 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 do you fill that stuff out?
When what are you talking about?
You have a lot of applications now where it says we're an equal employment opportunity employer, and it has volunteers like, was you a veteran? What's your race? Do you have a disability? Do you fill all that out?
So I do the ones about, am I a veteran? No. What's my ethnicity? I fill that out. But do you have a disability? I leave it blank if at all possible.
Well, why
if I have to answer, like, or it gives you a like, oh, all fields are mandatory or whatever. If I have to answer, then I would mark yes, because that's the truth. But
why would you mark your ethnicity but not disability?
I kind of want to know the same answer to that question.
Because I don't mind talking about that. I don't really see the point.
Well, how is it relevant? How does it impact your job, whether you're white, black, Asian, whatever, versus disability? I mean, it's
right.
the same thing.
I'm with Anya on this one. I'm kind of like, okay,
because I know that and I'll just say this: I have never and likely will never apply under the affirmative action program. Not ever. That's way too much hand holding and babying. I don't expect to just be given a position like all the DEI losers do. No. If I earn this position through merit and qualifications, then fine. But I don't want to be just someone's checkbox on a list somewhere.
Well,
you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought I might be accidentally muted. I wanted to say that I have to tell you guys, I do feel like I know myself, and I'm sure each of you feels the same way too, that we do have a lot of very unique skills and abilities that our sighted peers really lack. Don't you guys feel that way? Like for example, attention to detail. Because I'm blind, I know I pay way more attention to detail than my sighted peers do.
Right. Critical listening.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, I feel like we're better at a lot of skills than our sighted peers, and some employers will see those things and really appreciate those, I feel like.
Maybe I'm just, I've had these recent conversations with people recently, and maybe I'm just too jaded. I don't think people care enough. I'm sorry, I just don't. But what I'll say, what I'll say is many people would recommend, if you're applying for a job, to fill all that part out, because just like it's important for some companies to hire minorities, it's also equally as important for them, quote unquote, to hire people with disabilities. So my question goes back to Brandon: is if you're comfortable with putting your race, say, on there, why wouldn't you also want to put your that you may have a disability? And they're not going to ask what it is, but why not put that on there if that could, quote unquote, help you get that job?
If I'm asked directly, do you have a disability? And it's by a person, right? They're asking me. Then I will say, yes, I do. But if I can leave that part of the form, because look, I'm not super aware of, nor do I care about all the, you said MAGA, you're racist. No, I'm not. That's an illogical, nonsensical, stupid thing of you to say. Okay. You're eating fried chicken. You must be black. I mean, you don't like that as much, do you? But it's equally as absurd of me to say that, as I think the MAGA movement has some good points. Oh, racist. So I don't know as much about those libtards. Yep, that's how I view them, and I don't want to know. But I do know what it's like to be blind through my lived experience. And I feel like there's a lot of negative stereotypes about blind people that really shouldn't be.
Okay, but there's negative. First of all, do we have fried chicken? I heard something about fried chicken, and so I was wondering if we had.
I hope we have fried chicken.
But there's a lot of negative stereotypes about anything, whether it's race, whether it's a way a person looks in terms of, if they have tattoos. And so there's negative stereotypes about anything you could look at, whether someone is blind, whether someone's deaf, whether someone's whatever the case may be. There's negative connotations that come with anything. There could be negative connotations for people named Brandon and I might personally have that I'm not telling you about.
Okay, but we've had a black president of the United States. We have people in Congress now who are clearly not, of American ethnicity. So it just seems like race has been more normalized and is not as big a deal, whereas blindness still is. It's a really big deal for people, and I hate it. It makes it really hard.
Dude, I don't disagree with you, but you could. I said could be the one to change that within that specific company. Are you changing on a wide scale, on a world scale? No, you're not. You won't. I won't. We ain't gonna do that. But for that specific employer scale, you just might. And I see no problem. As a matter of fact, I encourage bringing it up because they're gonna see your resume. They're either going to see you've worked for blindness specific companies, because a lot of us have, or they'll see that you didn't. But they're going to see where you worked. They're going to know kind of the things that you did. If you have on your resume.
But I could argue the sighted people work there too. So
yeah, but okay, but hang on a second. But if someone said to you, okay, Brendan, I see maybe you taught assistive technology back in the day. Well, what is that? And most people that know that are either blind or have a reason for working in that department. Are you a teacher of the visually impaired? Those questions are going to come up if they've seen your resume. So why not just get it out of the way and say, yep, I'm blind. Here I am. Like me or don't. What's the applause?
Because they won't like it. It'll be based on preconceived ideas, preconceived stereotypes, and they won't even give you a fair shot. And that's all I'm asking for.
But do you think once they find out, they're not gonna, if they're gonna be this way either way? So whether you say it right away or later, is it gonna make any difference?
I don't know. See, that's an interesting question. I don't know. But I guess we'll talk more about it after the break.
Yeah, this has been fascinating. We'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back.
I told you we were lost.
Hello?
Gonna have to reset this leg, my young friend.
Where's Mateo?
He never came, they never showed up.
We're happy to help people like you, but it isn't safe to be out there wandering.
I see you two enjoyed our world-famous ribs.
How many times have I told you, kids? No cartoons after sundown.
I don't know what kind of sick fucking games you two are playing down here. Carol and I really liked you two.
Hey everybody, are you enjoying the show? Are you enjoying the books? Are you enjoying everything we're doing here at Blue Butterfly Enterprises? If so, go up to bluebutterflyenterprises.com and check out our store and buy some of our memorabilia. Wouldn't it be cool to have a Becca's World hat or t-shirt or coffee mug or a bumper sticker for your car? I'm gonna get one for my car when I get a car that I can drive.
I love it. I love that commercial, that merchandise commercial. That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
I have lots of cars, but none of them can I actually drive, unfortunately. What I'll say is, I look at it this way. Say I'm on Facebook, or say I'm in the dating scene, and I'm trying to keep things kind of. I don't want to out anyone in specifics because I've heard of this situation, but there was a person that I knew who was in the dating scene for a while, and it wasn't me. So this has nothing to do with my personal life. Okay. It was a friend of mine.
That's because you emphasize it so much. We totally believe that.
Okay. And so there was an individual who was looking at going out with someone.
Okay.
And that person had put a very old picture of themselves up on their profile. And it was a very, 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 very good picture. Very good picture of themselves. Now, later, that specific individual met that person and went on a date with that person. And that person was their picture, let's just say, did not match up with what they looked like at the present day. And that person, like it or hate it, said, I don't want to go out with you because you did not look like the way that I thought you was going to look. Now, you could say that that was mean. You could say that that was unkind, and I agree with you. But what that person would say is that person was dishonest with me from the get-go, because that person put a picture of them up that they do not look like one bit to this very day, and I kind of look at it the same way.
I mean, look. I'm just simply saying, and I'd like to. Look. So let me make my statement, and then I'll ask my question. I'm just simply saying I don't disclose up front. It's not that I won't admit to it. I will, but I don't disclose it up front. Now, my question is, Anya, let me ask you this: you and your husband, did you disclose up front? I mean, because you asked, does it really matter? And I don't know that answer. I don't. But I told you with the lady who's now my wife, she didn't know in the beginning that I was blind. We met over Yahoo Messenger. Remember Yahoo Messenger? We met over Yahoo Messenger, and then we talked on the phone. And so you see, there was no need for me to by the way, I'm blind. There was no need for that to ever.
You sound like a VeggieTale there. That was good.
Yeah. There's no need for it to ever come up in.
It sounds like Jimmy Gourd from VeggieTales. Google it.
Now, I could tell you the story of how she found out. But
yeah. Now, how did that? Now, hang on a second. Do share that story. How did she find out, and what exactly happened with that? Go ahead. We'd love to hear about it.
Well, the way that she found out is I was out with my cousins. She called to talk to me. My mama answered the phone, and that's.
And now you could have. Now, was it a good thing? Now, obviously, it was a good thing.
I think it was a good thing because she knew me already.
But was she upset? Did y'all have a discussion that maybe might have been intense after the fact?
Yeah.
That could have all been avoided if you would have just told her right off the bat.
No,
Yeah.
No,
It
she
could have
wouldn't
been
have even
avoided.
given me the time of day. She would
How
have
do you know? Maybe she would have. You don't
And I
technically know
don't know,
that.
but I just, dude.
Okay, Anya,
So
I want to hear your
what,
story now.
what about it, Anya? Did you
Well,
disclose? Like, how did that whole thing happen? Like,
Well, as for us, my husband and myself, it's hard to apply this because we met for the first time ever at the NFB board meeting. So I showed up there with a
okay,
case, so there
how
was
did
no.
that happen?
Well,
Why was he there?
I moved to Kansas.
What was
and
a sighted dude at an NFB meeting? I mean, he could be there, it's fine, but why?
Well, because my husband, he has a blind son. I think you knew that.
Okay,
And he was volunteering. He serves as a treasurer for the state. So that's why he is an officer. Like he was attending that board meeting, and I showed up there. So in our case, there was no like upfront or further down the road. Like there was not a question. But I have to say, I do know people who have dated online, and it's been a big debate whether to disclose it or not. And as experience shows, from what I know from people, that you should disclose it first, because for many people it is a big deal. So what you might end up doing is wasting your time. You can be talking, you can be chatting, you may even become a liked person by that
Other individual, yeah.
partner. Yeah, but once they find out, and first they can get pissed off that you never told them. And you guys have to admit, blindness, it is a big issue. I mean,
It is. It is.
It is a big thing. So for many, especially for personal life, for marriage, for stuff, not everybody's ready. So
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you guys how I feel about it. Like on my Facebook dating profile, I don't say, "Hey, my name's Becca and I'm blind," and I didn't even know. But my sister, when she uploaded photos onto my Facebook profile for me, one of them I have my cane in it, and I didn't even realize it until one day I got a message from a guy, and he said, "Hey, is that a white cane I see in the picture?" And honestly, I think that was Tim, the guy I'm with.
Yeah, it's a temporary.
Yeah,
thing, right?
because no one had ever recognized the white cane in the picture. I didn't even realize there was a white cane in one of the pictures. Because, like I said, my sister went to my camera roll and loaded them up there. And bless her for putting that picture up there of me with my white cane. So no guy can say he wasn't forewarned.
Yeah,
but
do
you didn't disclose it though, and I commend you for that. I don't.
But she did. She did disclose it. The white cane discloses it.
Yeah, and
but
like
she didn't know that the white cane was in the picture.
So you guys, the man I'm with right now, the man I want to spend the rest of my life with, the man that makes me so happy over the moon, his name is Tim. He is the one who sent me the message and said, "Hey, is that a white cane I see in that picture?"
You didn't know it was there.
I had no idea it was there. No one else
Right.
had noticed
But that
it.
was disclosed. But that was disclosing it. That was just.
And I think
we're not hiding it. You know, like the thing is, like I think we've talked on previous episodes, like how and I've always said I never say, "Hi, I'm Becca and I'm blind." I try to never approach my blindness like I'm apologizing for being blind or like I'm ashamed of being blind. I just blind. So I use a white cane. I use an iPhone that talks. I do these things that are visible to everybody, right? So when they meet me, they know I'm blind and they just realize that. And
correct. And that's a lot about how I feel too. Right. They're gonna know. They likely will know. I don't mind that they know.
I don't. I'm trying to think how I do this because we've gotten on a tangent, but I will let people know that I am, and the reason for that is because many of people will ask, and they're well-meaning people. They'll ask, "So, are you completely blind, or can you see like a little bit of shadows, or can you see some colors?" And so I will get out of the way that I am completely blind. I can't see no shadows, can't see no shades, because I don't want people to ask that question.
If an employer did that, I think that you should try to pursue proceedings against them.
Yeah, but if I'm hanging out in a group of,
that's just like saying, "So are you like kind of black, or like 3/4 black, or like African American?"
Okay,
or like,
yeah, but
how
I'm not
black
talking
are you?
about employers. I'm talking about just in general. Just in general, because people want to know. People are curious, and I'll get that curiosity right out of the way if I can.
And I want to add one more thing, like with dating, especially. Again, I'm not a part of this world like for a long, long time, but I know that these days, we're not talking about like when people were exchanging emails only or something. Right now, pretty much from the first or second call, people request video chat, like the video conversation.
That's probably true. Yeah.
So, and then as soon as you turn on that camera, there's no eye contact, and here you go.
Yeah, and you know, if there's pictures of me anywhere, you know, whether that's on Facebook or MySpace or what have you, yeah, you can you can tell just by my eyes that I'm visually impaired. So
But what I'm saying is that this dating happens a lot quicker now. Like the timeline is compressed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in the dating world either. I don't know how I would handle it now. I don't know.
Well, but I think this can allow us to move on to the topic that Anya had, because I'm very curious to talk about that.
Yeah, how do you think somebody should approach a blind person? Even though I'm not going to admit to it in the beginning.
Yeah, unless they see you and they figure it out. But I'm sorry, whose dog is barking? I hear so distracting.
It must be my dogs. Let me mute my microphone.
Got a lot of noise going on tonight.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. So I was gonna say what inspired this topic is that yesterday I went to this meeting. We have some blind support group that I did not know existed in my town. Somebody told me about it, so I went to check them out. And that particular time, there was only a few people, like maybe 5 people, and they were all seniors. And I just came and I started talking to them, and they were just introducing themselves, telling me how they lost their sight. They were all legally blind, like nobody was total. But they were really having a hard time, and a lot of them are taking antidepressants because they're just having very hard coping time with this. And I started telling them about what I've been through, like, you know, through the Colorado Center for the Blind and what I did. And they're like, wow, so you can tell us how to live non-visually. And yeah, so then I started telling them, but again, it was just first meeting I went to. I don't know how it's gonna go. And I wanted to bring it up to you guys and see, like, what would you recommend? Like, what would you suggest? Like, if you see the person who is struggling with vision loss and depressed and sad, or trying to, or maybe not so much depressed, some of them, but they're trying to find the ways to live normal life. So, what do you take it?
Well, being that they're all seniors, you want to talk like this, so you're on their level, okay?
I would not do that. We already disagree. I would not do that.
No, but in all seriousness, I you know, see, you're laughing. Why are you laughing? Because it's fun.
Because you immediately switch back. But okay.
Oh yes, I can do that. But you know what I think, Anya, because I've been dealing with this as well in my personal life. I know quite a few people who are losing their vision, and it's a very sad thing. Because it's one of those things that, you know, I can't imagine, knowing how much people that are sighted depend on their vision. I can't imagine what it would be like for them to lose such a big part of their life. I mean, people will tell you that they use their vision, you know, quite a bit more than any other of their senses. Goes back to the conversation we was having earlier. Are blind people really more detail oriented? I don't think necessarily that's the case. I think some are and some ain't. But anyway, I digress. But I think the thing that you can do for them the most is really is simplistic as this may sound, is really just be there for them, talk to them on a one-on-one basis, listen to maybe what they're struggling with, and really listen, and then suggest, have you tried? Or, you know, why don't you try? Or, you know, I do things this way, and if you're losing your vision, you may want to try this. And I think once they're able to do that, once they get past the I'm losing my vision, what am I going to do? Because that takes time, and it's a different amount of time for different people. Some people, it takes them 6 months, a year. Some people, they never get over that. And so I think when they're past that, I think the best thing you can do is just listen to them and go off of your experience, because obviously what you're doing works, and they see that. And I think that's the best thing you can really do. Now, don't judge them. Don't go up to them and go, well, I'm blind, so I can do this, and so there's no reason why you can't. No, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, they're so new. Yeah, and
But
one lady.
You don't at all recommend like formal structured training centers, Paul?
I think some training centers are better than others. I would recommend them, but some of them, I feel like that maybe have a certain methodology. I would not probably agree with, but I do believe a training center can be a very good thing overall.
I just don't want Anya to have to take on the responsibility of being their permanent teacher.
Well, I understand that.
I wouldn't be a teacher, but I did mention the NFB, and then to my surprise, they had not heard of the NFB. And I was like, and they were trying to collect resources, like they were trying to write down what they could do, like what things are out there. And I said, you guys, like all these things already exist. Like I was trying to tell them about the seniors division that NFB has, and they asked me about the website. And to me, it was so weird because I hear about NFB all the time, everywhere. It seems like everybody knows about NFB.
Oh, not me, not me. I'll say, having stepped back from the organization, I almost never hear about it. I don't hear about it on the radio. I don't see TV commercials for it. I don't hear anybody talking about it in newspapers or magazine ads.
But I mean, Anya, you kind of asked as an individual, I felt like. And so to me, like as an individual, what can you do? Well, that's what I think you can do. Now, should they and can they receive things from Kansas? Absolutely. And they should take advantage of those things that the state may offer for those that are visually impaired. But as I was just saying, what can you do as Anya? That's kind of where my mindset was.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend some formal training. I know you say you don't agree with that. There could be a couple of problems with that. A lot of these people, they live in my town, so moving to a different state, it would be a challenge. They're all older people, kind of set in their ways, it would be harder, but I still think it's worth telling them at least about our local resources, like local NFB resources, and connect them with people. That's what I was thinking to do, and see how much they can do.
I know I do overall think training centers are a good idea. I guess my issue with some of them is that some of them teach a lot of things that I think are great, but they don't teach about finances, how to kind of budget finances.
That's not true. It depends where. Where do they not teach?
Correct. It depends where. And so that's all I'm getting at is some do not put any sort of emphasis on that. I'm not going to out any of them, but I think that is quite a shame.
But I think if you're 75, like you would need some financial literacy at this point.
No. I think what Paul said, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Paul said, the wider issue is that, quote, schools for the blind, unquote, which I don't even like that phrase.
Oh, that's what you're referring to. Okay.
Oh, you're blind, you have to go to one of those schools. But they traditionally don't do as well on classical, like standardized admission tests, ELA,
but
mathematics.
But it's not even that. There's centers for the blind and visually impaired who don't teach a lot of financial stuff because they're quote unquote state ran centers. And so they don't have to teach, you don't have to learn how to quote unquote budget as much versus if you lived, say, on your own in a more immersive setting.
Yeah.
Oh, I just know, like, generally, just it's not just finance, it's English language arts, it's mathematics.
Well, I can't talk good English, so what did school do for me? But I think giving them resources, though, Anya, would be a good thing, though.
Yeah,
and I think like demonstrate what you can do. I mean, even as something as simple as pouring from a pot of coffee, something that simple.
Funny you mentioned coffee because demonstration. I spilled coffee yesterday. It was a good demonstration.
Was it at that specific meeting?
Yes.
Oh, it was. Oh, what's the laughing sound effect?
Yeah. Come on.
Or you could have done the yay sound effect. That also would have worked as well.
There we go.
I think Paul likes the fact that he can say a specific thing and Brent or Gino acts upon it. You know, he can call out these sound effects.
No, I don't know. If he's gonna play him, I'm gonna have fun with him. He wants to loop my vocals on a drop. So
This is how to pour a cup of coffee. I will now show you. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that happened. I'm sure you were super embarrassed.
Oh, absolutely not. Not a bit.
Oh, you wasn't?
I mean, why would I? I mean, it's it could happen to anyone. So
what kind of coffee was it?
What do you mean?
Black. I drank only black.
People don't like just randomly spill coffee on purpose.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Brandon.
No, but what he means is anybody can spill coffee. And honestly, as blind people, when we do things, I feel like we're more embarrassed than a sighted person is when they do the exact same thing. You know what I mean?
Well, guess what? They were all almost blind, so nobody even noticed.
Nobody seen it? I see.
That's a good point.
You're killing me.
No, I don't agree. I think it's funny, but no,
You're lucky. You're try that in a traditional office setting. Everybody will notice immediately.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's always because you're blind. I know. That's in a restaurant too. You know, like any little accident happens.
Now that's true. I can. Okay, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was my topic, and sorry, Paul, we didn't get to yours, but I kind of would like to discuss that. So if you want to hold on, we can talk next time.
All right, I can move it over to the next week.
And before we go, I just wanted to make an announcement to our viewers that this Sunday at the Chandler International Film Festival, our show Invasion is going to be screening. So if you are in the area, please come out and join us. Gino and I would love to meet you and have your support. Peace out, y'all.
All right, have a good one, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Please like, share, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Peace out.
Thank you for watching Becca's World. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel.